game and refresh. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Purple Cart 5, the Jaleco Arcade 1 cart for the Evercade. If we open up the first game here, this is 64th Street, a detective story. This is a beat 'em up along the lines of something like Final Fight. It's not as good as Final Fight in my opinion, but then I do tend to hold most beat 'em ups to a high standard and compare them to Final Fight. But as you can see with this one, you've got the usual, you've got your jump, you've got your crates with items in, you've got your usual simple attack, and you can also do something quite clever in this one, to pick people up and throw them into the scenery. So that's something new for this type of game that I haven't seen before in a beat 'em up. Overall, like I say, if you like Final Fight, you're going to like something like this. I quite like it, but it's just a little bit lower than something like Final Fight in that regard. So I would rank this as good, I think. Like I say, it's above average. It's not quite the excellence of something like Final Fight, but it's definitely a strong game and a good first start to this cart. Next up, we've got Astyanax. If you remember games like Rygar and Rastan, running along from left to right with your axe, smashing various monsters as you go. You've got your jump, you've got your swing. This one you've got special abilities that you pick up from these little totem things. So that thing that I've just picked up there, that's like a lightning bolt. So if I just use that now, it clears the screen. So yeah, this is a good one if you like those types of side-scrolling hack and slash games. So slightly different to something like Final Fight, but more akin to stuff like Rygar, Rastan Saga, that sort of stuff. This is a good one of them. You do get some cheap deaths from time to time. So later on in this level, for example, there is a waterfall section and there's some disappearing platforms on that, so you've got to time your jumps just right. So it is full of a couple of frustrating platformy type segments like that, and a couple of tough bosses that seem to have a longer reach than you. But overall, I quite enjoy that one. I think I would put that in the average category. Like I say, it's a decent enough game, happy to play it, but it's not quite up there with 64th Street. The next game we've got is Avenging Spirit. This is a little bit of a different one, so it is still a platformer, still beating up people, but sometimes you get guns on this. So this one, you control this little ghost and you can pretty much pick who you sort of possess, and that becomes your character for that game. So this guy that I've just possessed there, for example, he's got guns. So when you get into the level, you've now possessed that character and you're doing the usual jumping around the platforms, avoiding getting killed. If you do happen to get killed, you'll become the ghost again and you get to possess another type of character. So similar to other games where you get different power-ups, in this one, death makes you have to claim a different character, and that in turn gives you your different abilities. So yeah, lots of jumping around, platformy. There's beat 'em up characters, there's ranged characters like we can see here. It's quite a tricky one, as you can just see there, that I had to do a little bit of backtracking because I fell off a platform. So there is a fair amount of that in this game. You will fall off platforms and have to do a fair bit of backtracking, but again, stuff like Metal Slug and games like that, if you enjoy those, you'll probably like this one as well. I think this sits firmly in the good category. I haven't got too far through it just yet, but it does look like something that I'd spend a lot of time in. Like I say, it's like Metal Slug. I do like that game, so I imagine I'll like Avenging Spirit as I play that a bit more. Up next, we move into our first of many shoot 'em ups on this cart, Psy Battler. This is a bit different from a lot of shoot 'em ups in that your cannon or your gun actually rotates, so you can aim in different directions. Once we get into the game here, I'll show you what I mean by that. So you've got your usual up, down, left or right movement of your character, but as you can see, when I do move, it kind of rotates his gun. Once you start shooting, you're locked in that position. So you can see there, I'm moving around, I'm locked in that position. I can angle it, again move around, locked in that position. Lots of parallax scrolling on this, great graphics, good sound, music, although the music can get a bit repetitive. I do like a shoot 'em up, and this is one of the reasons that I picked up this cart, because it does have a lot of them on here, and I think this is a very good one. Like I say, the difference of being able to angle your weapon like this, and you've also got this weird kind of sword ability you can do there. I haven't quite worked out how useful that is or when the best time is to use that, but you know, this usual shoot 'em up, you've got your bosses that you come into, you've got bigger ships like this that come halfway through the level. Yeah, this is a good one. I do like shoot 'em up, and this one I do like. So I think this definitely goes in the good category. This is one of the better shoot 'em ups on this cartridge, and it is one I have played quite a lot so far, and I will be playing it more going forward. Another shoot 'em up next, this time EDF, or Earth Defense Force. This is another great shoot 'em up of this cart. You know, I think this is probably my favourite game on this cart so far. You've got your usual assortment of ships that you can choose from at the start. So you've got your lasers, your Vulcan, your atomic, your Homan, etc. You've got two different stances, maybe, if that's what you call them. So your ship can shoot either straight out from like that, or you can change your stance to have your weapons rotating around you. That can come in handy when you've got enemies surrounding you, or if you're up against a boss. So you, instead of having your corner fire like this, you can have your weapons sweeping around like that. So that's a good one. You don't tend to pick up pickups or power-ups on this game. Instead, you'll see that level bar at the bottom. That kind of fills up the more enemies you kill, and once it gets full, your weapon actually levels up and it becomes a little bit more powerful. So you get to level 2 of the weapon, level 3 of the weapon, and each time it goes up, your weapon gets a bit stronger. Here you can see one of the first mid-level bosses that you can see there. It takes a lot longer, a lot more damage before he goes down. So yeah, typical standard side-scrolling shoot 'em up. I do like this one very much. Bosses, loads of different weapons you can select for your ship at the start there. Yep, this is a good one, and this is going in the excellent for me, because you know, this is top tier shoot 'em up on this cart, and as I said before, I do like my shoot 'em ups. Coming up to possibly the weakest game on the cart so far, and that's P-47 Phantom Fighter. This again is another side-scrolling shoot 'em up, but it just doesn't feel as polished as some of the other games on this cart. You know, I mean, you can look at the graphics. The graphics are very simple, they're very small. There's not a lot of detail in the backgrounds there, not a huge amount of parallax scrolling. Sound effects and the music are a bit bland as well on this one. You do have an alternate fire, so just there I've picked up the bombs, so you can see, similar to something like Scramble, you get to drop your bombs down on the enemies beneath you. But yeah, like I say, this one, it's just very plain, very bland. It's not my favourite cart game on this cart, and so with that in mind, I'll probably stick this in the below average section. Like I say, not a terrible game by any stretch of the imagination. It's still something I'll happily play, but not my favourite. Something a bit different now on this cart, and this is Rodlands. Now, Rodlands comes from that stable of games from way back when, stuff like Rainbow Islands, Parasol Stars, New Zealand Story, that sort of thing. I remember loving this game when I had it. I think it was on the Atari ST back in the day. This version is the arcade version, and it's a lot prettier than that. So great gameplay. You know, you play this little like fairy type creature with a wand, and you pick up the baddies and slap them backwards and forwards to try and knock them out. That is the main objective, clear each level. You can summon a ladder to help you get out of reach places, but the sub-objective of each level is to actually try and get all the flowers as well. So if you do manage to get all the flowers on a given level before killing all the monsters, similar to something like Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Island, that type of thing, you get the option of picking up an extra. So I'll just demonstrate that now. So the creatures will turn into these weird like turnip looking creatures, and when you do take them out, they will drop those letters, and if you spell the word extra at the bottom there, you get a bonus life. So Like I say, I used to love this game back in the day, the old 16-bit home computers, and it still holds up today. It's still a terrific game. I do love it, and for that, me, it's going in the excellent tier. I do love myself a cutesy platformer like that, you know, like say Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Islands, Parasol Stars, and this is a good one of those. Yeah, the final game on this cart is also the final shoot 'em up, and that is Saint Dragon. This is got a slightly odd mechanic in that you're a serpent and you can use your tail to help protect you from enemies and bullets. So if I just try and get myself there so I can hide behind my tail, and that'll absorb the bullets for me. It's a neat little thing, but if I'm honest, it's a bit of a gimmick because it's not the easiest thing to do. You know, you'll find it's easier to just go away and shoot something than it is to try and whip your tail around to try and absorb a bullet or something like that. But it's nice to see that this game's a more organic game, or less military, so you're not talking ships and aeroplanes and stuff. This is more like creatures that are shooting at you and stuff, so it is very interesting. The graphics are good. I do like the gameplay. I haven't got very far on this one yet, so you know, it's not quite as strong as EDF, but I do like it, I do enjoy it, and for that reason I'm probably going to put that in the average category. I'd say it's probably better than Astrianics, but you know, not quite up there with Cybattler or EDF. So, where would I rank this cart in total then? A lot of good shoot 'em ups on that. Rodland, fantastic game. EDF, fantastic game. Only one game is in the average slot here, so I think this is a very strong cart. I don't know whether to give it an 8 or a 9. I think for the moment I will probably put it in the 8, just so there's a bit of headroom for any future arcade carts to see if there's going to be anything better than that going forward. But for the moment, you know, I think that's where it's going to sit. Great, excellent. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. There'll be more Evercade arcade cart ratings to come. Look out for those on the channel going forward. If you agree with that, or if you've got any comments on Arcade 5 cart, drop the comments below. And on that, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.